Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Going in Blind. So today we are going to talk about one of those hidden trials add-ins from Final Fantasy TCG, and this time it's going to be Final Fantasy 13. So what we got here is a whole new deck basically, but I wanted to clarify a little bit of things here and there. So we already had every Nabaat. We already had all of them, but a new one came out, and so we're gonna make this one in honor of her, because by the time we get a fifth Nabaat, I was like, this is a theme, and they all do the same thing, and they're all the same type, and also they're all in the same element. And then we get a sixth one, and I'm like, whoa, this is main character mode. We gotta do something with it. So I decided to make a whole deck out of her, because there's a lot of ice stuff. We have already all the backups to make a whole new deck. That meant it was clogging our other decks from whatever we could do with them. Instead, we decided to take away those cards and other cards too, like the Orphans, the Sit Reigns, and some other utility cards. And we had to scrape the bottom of the barrel, so we had to get some monsters in. But worry not, because they are the lowest cost of monster that ice can get. So there we go. They can all pay for each other by discarding. So one monster to discard, one monster to play. And the same thing happens with all of them for the other things. You could discard a monster and play one of the Nabaats. That's actually a really good thing, and that's how you can get out those backups, okay? And that way you don't have to sacrifice your big cost cards, so that you can play them later by having your small cost cards in the... Without further ado, let's begin. We got the Nabaat, the new one, and it's two cost backup, and it says you pay 2 ice and tap it and sacrifice her and choose one doll forward and break it. Okay, so removal. Then we have the other cost 2 that's in the same post too, but it's not the Dissidia, and it's a cost 2 backup with EX burst instead. Oh, she's a saboteur instead of a psychom. Interesting. But yeah, she says when she enters the field, choose up to 2 forwards and freeze him. And it also has a special effect. It says special play, meaning discard a Nabaat, which we have 6 of times 3 because they're play sets. So technically 18, 17 if you put this one there. Then you pay an ice and you tap it and you choose a forward, dull it, and freeze it. This one can give you the dulled one so that this one can break. Then we have the third cost 2, a backup as well, and it says backups don't deal damage to the forwards you control. So she is protecting our guys. And then we have the cost 4 backup finally, which is going to be when the Nabaat enters the field, select one of the 2 following actions. For each job psychom, there's 5 of them, that you control, your opponent discards 1 card from his or her hand. Wow, that's really good. And then the other one is deal 4,000 damage for all the doll forwards your opponent controls. So it is either discard or removal, something that's really feasible in this deck. I mean, they can happen pretty quickly. I think this is a really good play, especially the more over the game it happens, the longer the game takes, the stronger that card is getting. So we got a short term, we got long term, and that's what Ice wants to do, just prolong the game, slow it down to a grind. That means Nabaat is going to do more and more damage, so that's pretty sweet. Then we have the third one, the 3 cost one, which is going to be a forward instead, and it's verse 2. It says when Nabaat enters the field, you may search for 1 psychom and add it to your hand. You can search one of these 5, especially this one. That's a nice one, right? And add it to your hand. That's great. And she's 7k. Then we have Nabaat for cost 3, and it's a psychom, and it says if all the characters you control have ice element, which is gonna happen because we have an ice only deck, then Nabaat gains 2,000 power. So it's a 7,000, gains 2k additional. Then it says when she is put from the field into the break zone, you may pay 2 ice, and when you do, choose 2 characters, dull them, and freeze them. There you go. So then this one can destroy them with a small tap. Okay, so that's pretty good stuff on the Nabaat. So that's what the whole deck's gonna be about: dull, freeze, break, dull, freeze, break. And so on the other hand, we have Orphans. Okay, so we have the cost 5 Orphan from Theatrhythm, and it's a forward Protofile C with 8k attack. That's also an EX burst. This card's got everything going on, right? And then it says when your opponent discards one or more cards due to your summon or abilities, so discarding, choose one forward your opponent controls and dull it. At the beginning of the attack phase, during each of your turns, your opponent discards one card, so it triggers itself. That's nice. Then we have another Orphan, which is going to be from Mobius. Cost 5 as well, forward 2, and instead of 8k, it has 9k. It says when Orphan enters the field or at the beginning of the attack phase during each of your turns, choose up to 2 forwards or monsters your opponent controls. Place 1 Doom counter on them. Break all characters with 3 or more counters placed on them. Okay, so it keeps placing counters, kind of like a 3-2-1 countdown, right? Then we have the Caustic Orphan. That's a forward as well, and it's a 9k too. And it says when Orphan enters the field, choose up to 2 forwards an opponent controls and duel them. If you control 5 more ice characters though, woo, then you freeze them. That's amazing. That's really good. And then when Orphan attacks, choose 1 forward an opponent controls and freeze it. So we got the dulling, we got the freezing, we got the breaking, we got discarding, and I mean, this is really stacksy. Honestly, this seems like it's like slowing to a grind, but that's the whole win con that you got Ice trying to do. So then we got Sid Reigns, another 3 of them card, so pretty nice. I didn't even notice I put them together. So it's cost 4 forward. The Cavalry, that's his type. Interesting. So it's 8k, and when Sid Reigns is put from the field into the break zone, your opponent randomly discards 1 card from their hand. See, so we got discard going on now. Then the other Sid Reigns costs 2. It says 5k instead of 8, and when Sid enters the field, choose 1 duel forward an opponent controls, deal it 4,000 damage. When it is put from the field into the break zone, this turn your opponent discards 1 card from his or her hand. So damage, dulling, and discard. Once again, very much tying in super well in my opinion. Then we got the Protofile C Adam. I really like this card. I've moved it around quite a bit. It's not like I don't like it or I think it's weak. I just think it's more flavorful here. It's like the bad guys situation. Also, all ice together. It keeps happening, right? So now it's with monsters, but before it was without. It's been through lightning stuff. It's been through snow stuff, through Sarah stuff. But yeah, it's working well. It was in a Hope deck once. Crazy stuff all around. But yeah, anyways, it's gonna be a cost 3 forward with 7k Protofile C. And it says if your opponent has 2 cards or less in the hand, Protofile C Adam gains 2k and first strike. Then when he enters the field, place some manipulator counters on itself, right? And then when he is chosen by summons or abilities, remove 1 manipulator counter from it, and if you do so, cancel its effect. Okay, so it's got 2 protection kind of situation, like it's like a negate, right? Negate to protect. Then we have the cost 4 Barthandelus, and it's a forward that's 8k, and it says when Barthandelus enters the field, choose up to 2 forwards an opponent controls, deal each of them damage equal to its power minus 2k. Then at the end of each of your opponent's turns, dull and freeze all the active backups at the opponent controls. Wow, that second effect is so good. I've read it like 2 times already, and this time I'm like, oh, this is so good. This is one of my favorite cards here. I also like this Orphan that procs itself, really good, but this is like once. This is once. Each of the opponent's turns is like you're gone, you know, like hit. You're punishing them for playing the game. Basically, it's like you get to discard and you get to dull stuff and you get to have them broken and you get to, it's like wow. And then this guy's like everything is dull, and then this guy's like everything is broken. But anyway, so let me know what you guys think about this whole deck. Oh, we got the monsters left. I'm so used to not reading them because they're just fodder for filling up the deck, which has been the case on 13. Don't get me wrong, that's why. It's not because I don't like monsters, I'm biased. It's more the fact that on 13 monsters are not very conducive to the rest of the game plan that every deck seems to have brought to life on itself. I'll be honest, I didn't design the decks, I just did flavor and function, but the decks have taken a life of their own and they piece themselves together really well, and yet the monsters don't seem to fit in. Actually, they don't fit in on any of the titles, but regardless, the one that has the least of them is Final Fantasy VII. It really doesn't use any of the monsters at all, and then after that comes the monsters here. They're just like very much out of it. But hey, ice is gonna be ice, so having a mono deck, you're gonna see a lot more overlap. So that's what I put there, the overlap. We got the cost 2 Dendrobium, and it's a stalker monster. It says put it into the break zone and choose 1 forward, freeze it, and draw 1 card. It's frozen, and you can draw and also damage 5. You can can put it into the break zone and choose up to 3 forwards and D7 draw 1 card instead. That's really good. Okay, then we have the Gremlin. It's gonna be cost 2 spook that gets 7k. It says when your opponent discards a card from his or her hand, do summons or abilities. It says Gremlin also becomes a forward with 7k, and when it is put from the field into the break zone, you choose forward and opponent controls, dull it and freeze it. Pretty good stuff, but this is very conditional. However, the whole deck is trying to do that kind of thing, so it's not gonna be a one-off situation. It's actually gonna activate plenty of times. Then we got the Lancer unit for 2 costs. It says when Lancer unit enters the field, choose a forward, dull it or freeze it. It's dulled, now it can be broken. Freeze it, it can be untapped, right? Then you put it into break zone. Your opponent discards 1 card from his or her hand. Ooh, discard, so dull something. Dulled something, break it. There it is. See, that's what the whole loop revolves around. So your opponent discards 1 card. You can only use this ability once per turn. That's okay, because you can just sacrifice one of them. That's fine. Then the next turn you do it again, you do it again, you do it again. That's cool. Now the last one says cost 2, it's Swamp Monk, and it says you can pay an ice, and until the end of turn it becomes a forward with 5k. And when Swamp Monk attacks, choose 1 forward or monster, dull it. Yes, so dull, it's dulled, gets broken, and you can only do it once per turn. Pretty cool stuff. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole deck. And this is one of the first that's both going in blind because we haven't used a deck, and also an add-in because we have just gotten cards, and also a deck tech because it's just a whole thing. It's gonna be a mixture, so let's see where that ends up. But yeah, let me know about that in the comments. Which one of this Jill Nabaats is your favorite? This one is certainly the one for me. So yeah, let me know about that in the comments, as well as like, share, subscribe, and follow for more. Okay, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.